Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. Today we'll be interviewing Gavin Kelley. And, well, why don't you start by introducing yourself?
Hi, I'm Gavin Kelley. I'm a senior at Columbia. And
Well, what do you do here at Columbia?
Columbia, I have my normal classes, but I mainly am out in the ag shop. Right now, I'm building a whole horse trailer, and that's what I do
Wow.
at Columbia.
And then I heard you do welding, competitive welding. So tell me a little bit about that.
So for competitive welding, I'll do it for FFA, or we have outside welding competitions too. So I already did districts for FFA in December, and then we have a welding competition coming up in March. That'll be a fun one. That one's down at Twin. We get up at like 5 a.m., go down there and go compete, and then you win welders and all that. That's fun. And then there's a state one at ISU. That's a pretty big one. That's big time. But yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Well,
Luis, I think we should take off on what we're really here for.
Yes.
So I heard that you do like aviation.
Yep.
Can you describe that?
Yep. I am a current private pilot right now, and I'm about to get my instrument rating.
Oh, wow. That's cool. So what plane do you fly?
So I've flown 2 or 3 types of aircraft. So the first one I started off in my private pilot was just a Cessna 172, 160 horsepower. Very slow, basically. Nothing to it. The one that I fly right now is a low wing. The other one was a high wing. I like the low wing better currently, but it's 108 horsepower, but pretty stable aircraft.
So, like, how does one get into this?
So there's different routes to take. I did it just straight narrow flight training. You can go get a college degree. You can go Silver Hawk, which is a Part 141 school, which they have different hours and different certifications, not necessarily certifications, but different ways you can do it. And then mine's a Part 61. We call it like the 61 Cowboys. It's more free will per se. It's all the same hours, all the same stuff, but I like it better per se. But yeah, anybody can do it. There's certain medical stuff that you have to comply with.
Like what?
If you have any heart conditions, is a big one. Inner ear vestibular system, big one, because you'll get disoriented. Any lung conditions, any autoimmune diseases, anything kind of like that. But we have certain doctors we go through as pilots that are designated to help us figure out what we can do and what we can't.
So would you say how would you describe your experience?
I'm about right where I need to be. I'm almost at 200 hours. I started when I was 15. I'm just a private pilot, which it opens me up to a bunch of things, but not necessarily. I can't get paid yet. But the rating I'm getting next, my instrument rating, that puts me up there with the big guys. That means I can fly in clouds, all that. It's up there. And then before I graduate, fingers crossed, I should be getting my commercial license, which then will allow me to get paid to fly.
What made you want to do aviation?
So when I was younger, my grandparents used to take me to the Lewiston airport, and we'd go out there and watch. My grandpa was a helicopter pilot for the oil rigs, and then he managed Idaho construction helicopters out here in Boise, and he flew for fires. And then I just took one summer trip over to my aunt and uncle's, and he's a private pilot also. I took one summer trip over there, and I'm like, no, I might as well just try it. And came back, tried to talk my mom into letting me get a discovery flight. She didn't like it. And I finally just called him. I said, hey, I need a discovery flight. I'll give you the money. And I had my mom drop me off there and went flying one day. And then I just said, let's do it.
Is it hard learning how to fly a plane?
It's not necessarily hard, but there's just a lot of things going into it. You're always doing something to stay ahead of the aircraft. Your hands are moving. You're talking to somebody. Your feet are moving at the same time. You're punching in something on the transponder or on the radio. I wouldn't say hard. You get used to it, but it's definitely something different. You're constantly doing something. If you have a moment of downtime, you need to potentially get ahead of the airplane.
Right. Well, I've never been, but how's it like up in the sky?
Oh, it's pretty fun. There's some days, there's been good weather recently, so it's been pretty smooth. There are some days, though, you get thrown around up there. But, yeah, it's pretty fun.
Like, is the air cool up there?
Oh, yeah, it can get, well, it's summertime. it's hot. No matter what, you're dying. It's hot. You're just sweating, burning, getting the sunburn. And then right now it's cold up there, really cold. Sometimes there's one night we're coming home, we're going down towards Mount Home, and it all of a sudden started getting really cold. The heater kind of started, it didn't stop working, but it was just getting cold enough where it wasn't producing as much heat. Then we got into a little bit of snow, and we got out of that snow real quick.
How much does doing this cost?
So the estimate for the whole thing is about anywhere to some programs like ATP, which is you pretty much just write them a check for $8,000, call it good.
Oh.
And so currently I've spent about $40,000.
Oh.
So it's a good chunk of money, but
Yeah.
also when I get to that position at the airlines, it'll be completely worth it. But I probably have about another $30,000, $40,000 to go this summer.
How do you afford all of this?
I started my own lawn company in the 5th grade, started mowing lawns in the 5th grade. Then I basically just mowed lawns, did every single job I could to get there. And then this summer I worked 3 jobs. I do a bunch of farm work, throwing hay all summer long, just irrigating, just all that. And then I work at Shields on top of that. And then, yeah. But now I'm trying to get a full-time job at Jackson's Jet Center, fingers crossed. So,
Oh, wow.
but yeah, that's how I afford all that.
So you mentioned that you take lessons. Like how spaced out are the lessons?
So I could fly every day depending on the weather. So I mean, like tonight I have a mock oral check ride, which is basically where I sit down kind of how we are, but just with one person, and he just asked me a bunch of questions and we just go through it, and it's pretty much just get me ready for that check ride, make sure I don't drop $1,000 for nothing. But yeah, so and then we just basically go up, fly until we hit our hours or until I'm proficient enough to be like, okay, you're good, let's go.
So is there like different stages of readiness?
So yeah, so I'm at the end of my stage. I have my written done. I have all that done. So now I'm pretty much just studying hard for the ground, and then just making sure I can fly the airplane how it needs to be flown on those procedures and be ready for a check ride.
Like what kind of weather conditions would gosh. Like
What would be the best weather conditions to
Yes.
fly in, or in the worst?
and what makes the weather condition worse or
What makes the weather condition worse?
unflyable?
So what we kind of just had yesterday. So yesterday, how we had the cumulonimbus clouds in the sky, which is kind of the poofy clouds. So that's what we consider an unstable atmosphere. That's not fun. That's turbulence. So I got on there, low level wind shear. So wind shear is when we have wind going. It's just not deciding what it wants to do, really. You can lose it, you can gain it. So it's just very unstable. So the air atmosphere, that like yesterday would not be a good day. You can do it completely fine, but you're going to be thrown around. And just the stable days are like nothing in the sky, basically. Like there's some days where you can have clear air turbulence, and then there's some days not. But this colder weather is better on the airplanes. You can get more performance and everything. So yeah.
Like why? Like why cold weather specifically?
So the cold weather, the air is more dense. The air is more dense, so we pretty much just get more performance. In the summer, the air is less dense, so you can't. It's hard to get off the ground and everything. But yeah.
Dang.
What's your dream job?
Oh yeah.
My dream
Coming from
job,
the grounds.
I've thought about doing a whole range of things. Like I wanted to maybe potentially go fight for crop dusters, kind of want to do some fires. I don't know if it'll happen, but eventually, more than sooner or later, I can become an airline pilot at 21. So I think I'll just jump straight into that and then just go straight for an airline.
It's interesting. I don't know that many people that do like aviation. Yeah. So this is like a very interesting topic to learn about,
Yeah.
because I did not know there's ideal weather conditions.
With the smaller planes, how has FFA, being a part of FFA and learning about engines and things like that? Because you guys are doing your safety checks. And
Yeah.
all that, having to build the plane inside now, right?
Yeah. So with that incident, I honestly felt because I was flying before I went to FFA, so I feel like having an understanding of how the engine works. Because you like know, you don't have to know everything, but you know 95% of everything. Like, and you should by the time I'm at the point I'm at. But learning how the airplane works, learning how all this stuff goes, it helped with small engines and everything like that. Because you already know how that engine's going to function,
Right.
what the main functions are, and all everything like that.
What's your favorite thing about it?
Oh, favorite thing about flying?
Or a couple favorite things about it?
I think it's just honestly getting to do something that not many other people can do. It's just something, well, I mean, people can do it, but it's not something that many people have done. Like, it's just the feeling of, I mean, you can get up there at 12,000 feet and just hang out. Just go get a burger wherever you want. $500 burgers. But I've done that a few times. It's fun. Go over to Sun Valley or McCall for fun. But I got to do a big one for my commercial where I'm actually going to take off from Boise, go Boise to Coeur d'Alene, Coeur d'Alene down to Lewiston, Lewiston down to Baker City, and then back to Boise. That'll be a fun flight.
Gosh. So what would you recommend like kids if they want to like pursue aviation?
Pursue aviation.
Yeah, like what would you recommend like they do?
I would recommend, so the big thing that was a big debate for a while is you had to have a 4-year bachelor degree to be an airline pilot, which was a big argument because it's like someone like me, I'm not going to go to college. I'm going to stick just completely flying. Is someone that per se has an arts bachelor or has an arts major or whatever would technically have higher position than I would, even though let's say I have the 1,500 hours I need, they would hold a higher expectation over me.
Oh.
So you can still, there's many college routes you can do. There's Embry-Riddle, there's UND, University of North Dakota, there's a few in Utah. They're all over the place. That is a great route. I would never do that. That route's just not for me. So you can go the college route, or you can do kind of just the basic flight training. Like even Silverhawk, they're partnered with TVCC, Treasure Valley Community College, and you can do the rotary with them, or you can do that. But mine is Glass Cockpit Aviation. It's out in Boise, and it's basically just you start at your private. They'll get you through your check ride. We have a multi-engine now, so you can do that. But I would say the best way to do it is if you want to go up, you don't have to, but you want to do a discovery flight. That's what everyone agrees with, because you want to make sure, well, am I going to get super sick up there? Am I actually going to like being up this high? Like, you want to do a discovery flight to not be like, okay, I'm $4,000 in now and I really don't like this.
Right.
So I recommend anybody. There's Carmel, there's Silverhawk, there's Glass Cockpit. There's a bunch of different companies in Boise, Idaho, and Nampa and Caldwell that if you want to really go get in aviation, just go do a discovery flight and then just work. And like with Silverhawk, they have TVCC. You can actually get a student loan program to go actually fly with them. So that's one way to do it, besides how I haven't done it that way. But if you can't have the money necessarily there right away to do it, then you can go do it with a company that has student loans or college. There's a bunch of different ways to do it.
Wow. You got a question?
No. Do you have any questions?
We're good.
No, we good?
Wanna do a little
All right, guys. Well, just remember, we don't have school tomorrow, and I guess this is it. This is the Wildcat.
Anyone you want to give a shout out to from your like aviation
Yeah.
program? Something?
Oh, let's just give a shout out to Glass Cockpit Aviation.
Well,
Yeah.
I think
All right.
I think
Well,
we're ready to
thank
go.
you guys for
Remember to reach for the sky.
Yeah.